What's up, Chippewa Scholars? Today I've got an exciting presentation for you. We are going to try to configure a car to drive itself in GTA 5, and we need your help. And so I put together this presentation so that you can see how you can help us use AI to drive a car autonomously in GTA 5. I want to make a quick disclaimer. I know that other people have done this kind of work in the past, and GTA, Rockstar Games, the developer of GTA 5, has taken issue with people who are doing self-driving cars in online. We're not doing online. This is not multiplayer. This is for single-player use only, and it's only for our own amusement and entertainment purposes. So if anyone out there from Rockstar is watching, we are not trying to break your online experience. With that, let me introduce you to what you'll need to help us out. You're going to need a copy of GTA 5, obviously. So that's step one. You're going to need a fairly powerful computer. You're going to need something called Anaconda. This is a development environment. Anaconda Navigator is the portal you would use to launch it. This application will pop up, and you will click here under Juniper Notebooks. You will click Launch, and this will launch a web browser that looks like this. And so make sure you have at least that part running. Next, you're going to need, well, this is optional, but it'd be nice if you could maybe have a GTA 5 modding tool like OpenIV so you can remove vehicle damage or not have to worry about cops chasing you as you're driving your car around town. Next up, you're going to need WinExplorer. This is a tool that we will use to resize and manipulate the GTA 5 screen in window mode. Finally, you need to download a model from the YOLO dataset. So it's going to look like this. I provided a link for you. Scroll down to the very bottom. You don't have to pay attention to anything except for this download button off here to the right. Please, please, please do not download the full lift dataset. It's enormous. Only download the trained model. That's all you need for the purposes of today. And you will drop that into the repo that I'm providing to you in step 2. So moving on, step 2, here's how you can get access to the code. Access the repo by following this link and download the code. Once you have the code, I've got mine on the desktop, so we'll navigate to it. Then into here, into the car folder, and you'll rename it from model to YOLO.h5. So make sure you do that, otherwise when you get to the actual training part, you won't be able to run that. Wow, I just realized that you actually don't even need this model to do the extra credit assignment. So that's only if you want to train your own model to do self-driving. If you don't want to actually train the model and you only want to record your own GTA 5 driving experience and train an AI with it, you don't even need to do the model. So cool. Well, make sure the next step is to, when you have your Juniper notebooks open, to look like this, navigate to the Juniper notebook file. So the way you're going to do this is you're going to navigate to wherever you have that Juniper notebook IPython notebook file. So for me, it's in my dev folder, GTA 5 self-driving car, and then you'll open this GTA 5 self-driving car IPython notebook. I've already got it running here. So what you'll do next is you will go to, I'm going to keep it full screen for you so you can see everything. You're going to scroll down to, you're going to run through all these lines. So literally you'll just do this. You'll click run, 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 and you'll keep doing this until you reach line 18, which is going to look like this. So keep going, keep going, keep going. Here we go. Don't run this line just yet. This is where we will actually capture the self-driving car. Make sure that when you're running these files, you don't get an error. So you're going to get a few outputs. A few of them are going to be quite large, like this one right here. It's okay that we're seeing a few warnings in here. This is not breaking anything. All the right packages, as long as you're able to execute these 2 lines successfully, you're probably good for the rest of this script. Alright, so now we're getting to the GTA 5 part. So what we're going to need to do here is we need to make sure we're operating in a very specific resolution. First, a few things about my environment so that you understand how you need to configure your environment accordingly. I'm running in a 1080p display. and I'm running at full 4K resolution. So I got a 4K resolution, I'm running the native monitor resolution, but I also am doing a scaling of 200%. I'm not saying that you have to use these values, you can use your own values, but bear in mind that the math is going to change on the screen resolution that you're capturing based on these values. So if you're running 1080p at 100% scale, well, then when you're doing the actual screen recording, which is in here, up here, you need to make sure that you're scaling these values right here. You need to scale these values based on the actual resolution that you're running at. So please keep that in mind. All right, so assuming you're running at 4K and assuming you're running at 200% screen size, here's what we would do next. So you would load up GTA 5 and it would appear somewhere like here on your screen. You need to make sure it's on the absolute top left corner of the screen before you continue. So you're going to load up this Win Explorer, and then you're going to navigate through the menu until you find GTA 5. I'm going to hit the refresh button just to make sure everything's nice and at the current state. So I'm going to find GTA 5. I'm going to go to this size and position tab, and I'm going to change the left and top coordinate to 0 and click modify. Notice that the width and height parameters are not the resolution that I have set in here. I have set in here 1280 by 1024, and it's showing 643 by 538. Guess why? It's because it's 200% scaling, so it's actually running at half. So anyway, don't worry about that. It's okay. Just make sure it's on the top left and use values that are corresponding to your scaling if you have scaling going on like I do. So next you need to make sure that you have first-person view camera enabled. So make sure that you're in windowed mode. Make sure that you have first-person camera enabled, which is going to be here. Under the camera settings, make sure you have first-person vehicle auto-centered turned on. Here are a few screenshots summarizing what I was showing you earlier. Make sure you're in windowed mode first. Don't do windowed frameless. It won't work. I don't know why. Just do windowed mode. 5:4 aspect ratio. The reason why we're doing this, we're going to crop the sides, so we want to lose as little information as possible for the model. So we're picking an aspect ratio that's as close to 1:1 as possible, and a 5:4 is the closest thing I could find that was in GTA 5. Third, make sure that you have first-person vehicle auto center turned on. And then pick a car that has really good visibility. And this is going to be up to you. Just make sure that you write down or note in your submission what car you're driving. I have a few suggestions. So one is the Ballista. I heard this is a really good one, high visibility. I haven't tried it yet. There's a Coil, which is just a knockoff of the Tesla. Try that one. I am going to do a golf cart here, and I've actually pulled up the cheat code, and I've provided you links where you can find cheat codes so you can spawn these cars, so you have to go searching for them. So in the PC version, you will pull up a cheat code by hitting the tilde key. It's very, very important that you do this in single-player story mode and not with multiplayer online. Just a quick tip here, if your mouse or cursor is stuck in GTA 5 like mine is now, you can Alt-Tab out, and that's your way of getting your cursor or focus outside of GTA 5. Just keep in mind when you're using WASD that if your focus is here and you hit the D and the D key twice, I could accidentally delete this line. So make sure your focus when you're driving using the arrow keys is in GTA 5, and you must use the arrow keys, WASD. I'm sorry, not the arrow keys, WASD. A joystick or a gamepad won't work. Alright, so let's spawn. We're in GTA 5. Let's spawn Franklin. First of all, I need to shut off shadow play because I don't really want to see that FPS counter being trained on. So I'm going to turn that off. And so now I'm going to spawn a golf cart for Franklin. So I'm going to hit the tilde key on the keyboard, and I'm going to type Hall Lean 1. And there you go. You can see there's a golf cart that just spawned in front of me. I'm going to hit V to enter first-person view. And of course my stupid phone thing showed up that I don't want to have any messages, please, when I'm, there we go. I want the HUD as minimal as possible. Again, just remember that is a setting in here. Go under camera and here we go. Turn the radar, the display, all these options to off. That'll be very helpful for this model. So now I'm going to enter the car. Okay. I'm going to hit V to make sure I'm in first person view. Not sure why that broke. And now, without further ado, we are going to train the model. Give it a few seconds to start. I can see that line is running in the kernel. There's going to be a countdown in the output. And there we go. Start driving. So let's go ahead and start driving. And don't change the view. Don't touch the mouse. I'm just driving using WASD. No using the spacebar, please. We are trying to learn how to drive purely based on image recognition from your key presses. And of course, that was a bad example of me driving. But please be a better driver than me. You'll see that as I'm pressing keys, it's actually tracking. Actually, I can't take the cursor to show you, but if you look very carefully, it has key press 001. This indicates that 1 is the W key being pressed because I'm pressing the accelerator, and that's being recorded. Every time you let go of a key, so I'm going to let go of W, then an additional sequence is captured. So it's capturing images based on when I'm actually driving. So I'm going to make my way back to the city since I was doing a very bad thing by driving out into the middle of the Inland Empire. Alright, so we're back in the city. I realized I was leaving the city, and that's not really what I wanted to do. I want to keep our training data primarily in the city of Los Santos and not in the inner city or the inner empire. So please try to keep your driving to within kind of the inner city area as much as possible. And so you'll notice it says over on the IPython notebook, recording at 5 SPS. Sometimes it says 4. The target is 8, but my computer isn't able to both render the game at 4K and simultaneously be running this notebook. And that's all right. As long as you're getting sequence captures, I think that'll be okay. So it is also valid just to point out that you can have both keys being pressed at once. And if you want to do stunts, that's okay. Just make a note in the notes that, hey, I did the following stunts. And, well, we'll see if we can get the AI to do some stunts too. So I've asked that you label your submissions as safe, normal, or bad. Let me describe what I mean by these. Right now this light is green. If I more or less stay within this lane, if I only pass through lights when they're green, let's label that as safe. If you drive through red lights, so this would be an example of a safe driving kind of scenario. If you carefully made your way around the obstacles, I would call this a normal driving scenario. And if you crashed a lot, like more than twice, I would call that a bad scenario. So please just keep that in mind when you're submitting your assignments. It's okay to submit a bad recording. I'm not expecting everyone's submission to be flawless. I just want to kind of have a sense for what kind of inputs we're giving into the AI when each of us are driving. This golf cart, by the way, is ridiculously fast. I think if I saw someone like this driving this perilously on the road with a little golf cart, I would laugh pretty hard. Ooh, that was dangerous. Can't believe that lady was just trying to cross the road without a crosswalk there. Oh man, that was a lot of crashes. There's a lot of road texture here. These are Michigan type roads. Probably jumping the curb was not a good idea, but... Whoa, no! So now I'm trying to drift my way through a few corners. Get in a few additional data sets. I'm about 468 sequences in. So I know polls will typically tend to, polls are a thing that tend to choke up this AI, this model. So I'm trying to train it to run into a few polls. So we've got about 500 sequences at this point. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. We'll call this one session. So to stop the recording, here's what I'm going to do. So just Alt-Tab out of GTA 5, go over to your IPython notebook, click kernel, and use the restart button. And so this should go ahead and stop active recording. You should see some files that are saved in your dev folder, which is going to be here. Car data. So this right here, this data 0, now contains the 500 roughly sequence file. So now that we've played around and done a little bit of driving GTA 5, let's check out what we did. So what I'd like you to do is, this is the line we were running in. In the following line, actually, I'm sorry. First thing we have to do is run all the lines up until this point. And a shortcut for doing that is clicking Cell, Run All Above. And this will take a minute to load. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll up here and I'm going to wait for this to... Oh, wow, it's already done. Okay, cool. Easy enough. So then I'm going to skip this line and then I'm going to hit Shift-Enter to run this line. And so this is now pulling images out of data2. .npz, this is the file that we were showing kind of earlier here. GTA 5 self-driving car data. It is pulling images out of here, and it will show us kind of some snapshots that it captured. Let's give it a minute to load. And so if you let that load, you're going to see images that look like you driving, hopefully with the camera centered. And if you see something like this, then this validates that the data that you have inside these files is good. So now we're going to go to the final step of the process. What I need you to do is, because everyone's data will be labeled training data, I don't want to overwrite. So I'd like you to actually name it your last name underscore CPS 498 fall or spring 21, and then whether it was safe, normal, or bad driving. In my case, it was bad. I had many, many crashes. And then the actual sequence, so this was data1 training data1.npz. In addition to this, please submit your shadow play file. So if I had shadow play going on, I would copy that into this folder. I'd copy those two files, and I would send it in Blackboard as a zip. If you can help us in this endeavor, that would be greatly appreciated. Stay tuned for more information.